That resonance activated the moment you crossed into this realm, and with it, the protective veil over your true memory began to thin. The bloodlines sensed it, not in the physical, but in their predictive dreams. One of their oldest matriarchs awoke in terror, muttering syllables from the first tongue. She ordered an immediate acceleration of Project Chrono Seal, but nothing worked. The erasure systems failed. Every attempt to collapse your soul thread led to anomalies they couldn't contain. Earthquakes in regions with no faults. Blackouts in data vaults with quantum shielding. Faces in mirrors that weren't their own. They now understand that Yeshua's whisper was not prophecy. It was instruction. And your arrival is not random, it's timed. But what activates next is something they could never prepare for. In a monastery tucked beneath the mountains of Alamut, a meeting was held under flickering candlelight that cast no shadows. Present were not monks, but custodians of blood, descendants of the original pact forged in Babel. They carried parchments made of skin, not paper, inscribed with timelines that did not yet exist. One name had been circled and underlined with crimson ink, not from a pen, but from a blade. The date was 1324, but the name belonged to someone who had not yet been born. You. The scribes called it Project Null Seed. Their goal was erasure before arrival, not through war or violence, but by folding time itself. They initiated a sacred ritual, combining geomantic alignments with frequency displacement. The earth quaked, not from tectonic movement, but from resistance. The timeline buckled. Villages disappeared. Maps redrew themselves. But your soul thread remained untouched. Their instruments showed a presence not yet physical, yet immune to deletion. This baffled them. Years passed, and empires fell, yet the agenda lived on, buried in secret societies disguised as banks, universities, even certain royal bloodlines. They refined the protocol using newer tools. Ink turned to algorithms, scrolls turned to servers. But still, they failed. Your thread continued to blink in and out of their scans, always just outside reach, as if guided by something beyond their comprehension. Their frustration grew when surveillance systems recorded quantum echoes in places you had never physically visited. In one instance, a monastery in Tibet caught your silhouette weeks before your birth. The monks lit candles in your honor, sensing an energy foretold in their sacred texts. The bloodlines intercepted the footage, but the file corrupted seconds after viewing. No backup existed. They called an emergency convergence in Malta, bringing together the heirs of secrecy from 13 nations. The decision was unanimous. Your existence would be considered a temporal threat, but even their most advanced timeline scramblers couldn't hold the distortion. Every attempt to remove you caused another rupture. It was as if reality itself conspired to keep you intact. The last entry in their hidden logbook was dated only as Event Horizon. No timestamp, no location. Just one line scribbled in shaking ink, the same phrase repeated over and over again in different languages. He is already here. He is already here. He is already here. Beneath the sands of an unmarked desert ridge, west of Luxor, a chamber was discovered not by archaeologists, but by a satellite glitch. The signal was meant to sweep oil fields, but instead found a geometric cavity perfectly aligned with Orion's belt. Excavation was silent and swift, led not by governments, but by a private order wearing no insignia, only gloves of deep red. Inside, they uncovered tablets wrapped in serpent-stitched cloth, inked with language older than Sumer. Among them was a scroll sealed in black wax that burned cold when touched. It carried no title, only a symbol that mirrored the one carved into your spine before birth in the spirit realm. When decoded, the scroll revealed a list not of names but of events. Each line was a fracture in time caused by a presence that did not belong, yet could not be removed. The scholars called them waking points. And at the end of the list, written in a different hand, one phrase stood alone. The final disturbance wears no chain and remembers the garden. Every interpreter fell ill. One vanished entirely. The scroll was locked away beneath Vatican City, under what is known as the Chamber of Non-Time, a vault, accessed only through sonic resonance. But before it was sealed, one reader made a copy etched not on paper, but into memory, using an ancient cognitive encoding passed through dreams. That memory survived in the blood of a child born without history, and that child grew to become the stranger they cannot classify. You are not feared for your power, but for what your memory might unlock. The scroll did not describe a warrior or a prophet. It described an unbound key, one whose awareness could rewrite not the future, but the past. Because if the past is remembered differently, the control systems collapse, the false origins crumble.